of the show is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only.
After months of springtime and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover and wonder. Climb on the fire engines, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org. जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। ऑनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या ऑनलॉक वाले केस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। ऑनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195।
Top of the morning, babe, with the Good Morning Babe.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's new around the world today.
Some wisdom quiz along the way.
Oh, and a song to come along with and sway.
Get your perfect everything start of the day.
And not
गुड मॉर्निंग बे आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते
नमस्कार
वनकम
नमस्कार
खुशामदीद
Assalamualaikum.
सत श्री अकाल
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము
जय स्वामी नारायण
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय जनेन्द्र
हमारे इस्लामी भाई बहनों को बोल दे या अली मदद
मौला अली मदद बोलते हैं सारी फीचे बदल बोलेंगे नीसा बला बलजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैं से फालतू बाबा
and of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बन जाने
फिर बलजान a quick look at what's happening on the roads रास्ते का हाल आपके लिए बलजान लीजिएगा पेश है टोटल सस्ते में
It's time for the Bandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's right, Balajan, wherever you are, अगर आप कहीं पे फंसे हो ट्रैफिक में, you can always give us a call here and tell us what's happening on the roads where you are currently stuck, ताकि आपके पीछे जो बंदूक हैं, they can actually say thank you to you and send some good karma your way, Balajan. Let's quickly take a look at right now 880. Oh my God, looks kind of bad right now, Balajan, because the disabled vehicle 880 south of Old Bayshore Highway in San Jose. The third lane is blocked over there. It kind of is a backed up traffic all the way on 880. As you guys know, we're getting back to the point of pre-COVID situation right now in traffic terms. One more disabled vehicle found on 85 southbound north of Moffett Boulevard is slowing down traffic in the region there. And also traffic has been reported on 80 southbound north of Maury Avenue in Fremont. Doesn't seem to be impacting traffic flow as such in Fremont. That's good news there, Balajan. But again, the high wind advisory on 580 eastbound and westbound between Greenville Road and Livermore. But then again, it's going to be a hot day. We're going to have temperature somewhere in the mid 80s. Also understand that it's going to be because it's going to be dry and everything. But then we still don't have any rains in the offing. And also a sad news is the fact that today they also found out. In fact, this morning there was a fire at the. It's called the. I forget the name. It's north of San Francisco. But then there's fire there, which actually is disturbing traffic. Now, speaking of San Rafael area, there actually is a collision on 101 southbound north of San Pedro Road, which is affecting lanes. It's totally backed up in the region, so watch out, drive very carefully. And going forward, I would just say that the traffic is going to be really bad because things, as you know, are opened up right now. And now, of course, we'll have more updates coming up for you guys on traffic update as well, because we see that there is a little bit of pressure on people right now to be getting to the work locations and everything, unlike what it was before. Some companies are still actually having exploring possibility extending their stay work from home. October is the date many people have been asked to come back to work, Banajan. So let's see what's happening over there. For sure, we'll share with you guys in the news update. But right now, Banajan, it's time for us to go and take a look at what's happening with the news. Faltrani, what do you have for our bandus?
Well, Banjan, from across the United States and locally here in the Bay Area, these are your news in brief right here on Good Morning Bay. This is every morning right here on Radio D Hotties, and you can catch this if you miss some portion of it on our YouTube channel, Radio Day Hotties. President Joe Biden's vaccine plan is hinging on a rarely used rule and is inviting legal challenges. That's right. US President Joe Biden's plan requiring more than 100 million Americans to get vaccinated against COVID-19 relies on a rarely used workplace rule with a history of being blocked in court, making it an inviting target for legal challenges by employers. As part of Biden's plan, which was unveiled on Thursday, private employers with 100 or more staff must ensure that their workers are fully vaccinated or ought to produce a negative COVID-19 test weekly. The measure will be implemented through an Emergency Temporary Standard, or ETS as it's called, issued by the U.S. Department of Labor's OSHA, that's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which regulates workplaces. The rule is expected in the coming weeks, and it was not clear when it's going to take effect. OSHA can implement an emergency standard when workers are exposed to a grave danger and the standard is needed to protect them, is what they're saying. This, in fact, allows the agency to cut short the usual process for developing a standard, which averages close to about 7 years. The U.S. House Democrats are now taking aim at hiking top corporate tax rate to 26.5%. Leading Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives said on Monday that they're seeking to raise the nation's top tax rate on corporations to 26.5% from the current 21%. The powerful House Ways and Means Committee said that it's going to debate legislation this week that would achieve the change as part of Democrats' broader $3.5 trillion domestic investment plan. The tax writing panel has scheduled work sessions for Tuesday and Wednesday to debate tax policy and other matters under its jurisdiction to be included in the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. In local news, Bandajan, and also actually national, because a group of Stanford University professors have asked the Justice Department to stop looking for Chinese spies at U.S. universities, joining an effort by human rights groups to end the Trump administration program they said caused racial profiling and was terrorizing some scientists. The China Initiative, in quotes, launched in 2018, aimed to prevent U.S. technology theft by China, but has since, quote, deviated significantly from its claimed mission, unquote, according to a September 8th letter, which was signed by 177 Stanford faculty members and made public by them on Monday. It is harming the United States research and technology competitiveness and is fueling biases that in turn raise concerns about racial profiling, the letter said. Asked about the criticism of the China Initiative, the Justice Department spokesperson Win Hornbuckle said the government was, quote, dedicated to countering unlawful, that is, Chinese government efforts to undermine America's national security and harm our economy, unquote, while acknowledging that the threat of hate crimes against Asian Americans is real. We take seriously concerns about discrimination, he said. President Joe Biden is heading to the western United States today for a 3-state tour aimed at highlighting his push to fight climate change and strengthen infrastructure, while helping fellow Democrat Gavin Newsom to hold on to California's governorship. Fresh off travel last week to view flood damage from Hurricane Ida in New York and New Jersey, Biden will visit the National Interagency Fire Center on a stop in Boise, Idaho, before flying to Sacramento California to see wildfire damage in the area. Biden has used the storms and fires across the country recently to highlight his call to fight global warming, calling climate change an existential threat as recently as last week. In other local news, Panajan, San Jose police and fire crews responded to a scene where a vehicle struck and ruptured a gas line, and the driver actually fled, according to the according to the police department. The crash was first reported at about 4:45 a.m. in the 300 block of Wooster Avenue, just northeast of downtown San Jose. Police said East Julian Street was closed between 26th and 28th Streets, and a shelter-in-place was ordered for the 300 block of Wooster because of this major gas leak. The leak occurred a little after 7 a.m. and the shelter order was then lifted. Police have not provided any further information regarding the driver, the vehicle, or anybody else who was injured in this particular crash. Speaking of injury, Banjan, if you ever get into, this is something that a lot of people tell us, if you ever get into a accident or a fender bender on a freeway, please do not get out of your car unless it is completely safe to do so. You know why?
Why? What happens?
Two drivers died after leaving their cars to argue about a crash on Sunday morning on Interstate 80 in Berkeley, authorities said. The collision was reported at around 1:30 a.m. in the eastbound lanes of I-80 west of University Avenue between a Chevy Malibu and a Dodge Durango. The two men driving the vehicles and a female passenger left the cars and were arguing in the lanes of traffic. According to California Highway Patrol, an oncoming Mini Cooper managed to swerve around the wreck but hit the drivers. The two men, whose names have not been released, died on the spot. The passenger was possibly hit by debris and taken to a hospital with minor injuries, the CHP has said. So it is very dangerous, especially on freeways, right? The other thing is also, Banjan, the reason I said it's not safe is because those trailer trucks are driving, right? They may not hit you, but the what do you call that? The wind vacuum that's created from it, you can get pulled into that, and you can get pulled into traffic. That's possible. It can easily happen depending on wind velocity and everything at that time. So please be very careful. Please do not try not to pull over or stop right there wherever you are.
You can pull over, but don't get out of the vehicle is the message, right?
Yeah. That's something, and try to get help as soon as you can rather than trying to resolve things yourself. Lawmakers are calling the high-speed rail plan now foolhardy and are threatening to pull funding. As Congress works to finalize the largest infrastructure spending bill in decades, a growing number of state lawmakers right here in Sacramento have begun to raise doubts about California's biggest venture, which is the high-speed rail project. After years and years and years of battling with property owners, the Trump administration, and a global pandemic, California's high-speed rail authority finds itself fighting resistance from state lawmakers even as the project is starting to show obvious progress on the ground. Visitors along the Highway 99 can now easily see the skeleton of a high-speed rail line finally taking form in the Central Valley. Viaducts and cranes outline the initial 171-mile segment that's expected to take riders from Merced to Bakersfield by 2029 when it is finished. Even with that progress, the growing number of decision makers in Sacramento say that the project remains headed in the wrong direction. If you think if you build it, they will come theory is pure fantasy, Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon told NBC Bay Area. And apparently he said they will come where? How will they magically appear in Merced is what
He's got a point. Where will they come from? Merced is not all populated that much, right?
Yes, exactly.
I'll tell you, something happened of this. People have got paid off, and the people who have left the offices now.
Yeah. I mean, they should actually connect the Bay Area and Northern California and Southern California. That's what they need to do. Not like put something along the... Anyway. A Democrat representing LA County, Rendon fears residents in his district may never see any benefits from the high-speed rail, at least as it's presently situated. After touring the project's construction earlier this summer, he said he's seen very little progress towards completion. Also, Bay Area residents are getting ready to cast their final votes just before the last days of election. In the Bay Area, dozens of voting locations opened this past weekend as the countdown to the recall election continued. The California gubernatorial recall is Tuesday, and on the final weekend before people showed up at a drive-through drop-off in Oakland. I guess it's just easier to do the drop-off because we both work. It makes sense to drop it off on the weekend like that, said Sue Yim of Oakland. And if you haven't voted, please go out and vote. Regardless of how you vote, it doesn't matter. Please make sure that you make your voice heard, Bunjan. Also, some news about the Caldecott Tunnel. One of the two westbound bores of the Caldecott Tunnel between Alameda and Contra Costa counties will be closed overnight on 3 nights starting Monday for maintenance work, according to Caltrans. The number 3 bore, one of two of the westbound vehicles, will be closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 10 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. each night. That's pretty much what we have in local news and also in national news. But again, we'll do a quick Ganika Kira before we come back with international news.
Sure, Fazani, we're going to go to the Ganika Kira right up, Jam. But let me tell you one thing. If you want to catch the news, which I just now share with you guys on air, you can go check it out on our news blog, mediamahima.com for sure, Balajan. We also have this video available for you guys to do a quick download, I would say, or not download, I would say on-demand view. You can actually go check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Radio Day Hotties, or just type Radio Day Hotties, you'll be able to see our channel right there, Balajan. And Abhi ke liye, Fazani, is there any song which you think I'll be playing right now?
Yes.
What? How can you think, Kadwe?
I don't know. I don't know what you want to
Seriously?
play.
Well, okay, let me see. Can you guess what I'm going to play today?
No, I can't guess.
Make a wild guess.
Okay.
Come on, you should not just make a guess. You never know, you might be right.
I don't know. You'll probably play a Shankar Asad Loy song?
No, I'm going to play a Pritam song.
Oh, really?
But good try though.
Oh, nice.
Hey Junoon from the movie New York Budget KK ke आवाज में KK. What's KK's full name? Something more Kannan, right?
Kunnath.
Huh?
Kunnath Krishna Kumar or something like that.
हाँ. That's right, Banajan. Hey, Junoon. Tosine, Banajan. Keep it in your heart for sure. Definitely have that particular thing. And let me tell you, let me do this. Fatwani, you talked about KK, right?
Huh.
KK, you want one more trivia for you, Fatwani?
What else, Baba?
His name is Krishna Kumar Kunnath.
That's what I said.
Can you
Kunnath
imagine?
Krishna Kumar.
See how it is, right? He actually is because he's South Indian. People don't call his full name.
Uh-huh.
I don't like this. Not at all, Bajaj. Not a bit at all. And of course, Bajaj, right, let me tell you, it's time for us to go into the news for you guys, the world news. Fatwani, do you have ready for us?
Yes, Alta Baba.
And now, Banjan, our world news is coming up. And what you could do, of course, Banjan, is stay tuned because after some time, after that, we're going to be signing off with Agane Akita, which actually is called Agane Akita because it's going to play again and again and again. Rather, it's going to play as often as possible for you guys.
Yeah.
And Faltwani is waiting with the news, right, Faltwani?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to keep you from the news. Go ahead, please.
Britain is set to expand the offer of a COVID-19 vaccine to all 12 to 15-year-olds after top medical advisors said on Monday that the children would benefit from reduced disruption to their education. The chief medical officers recommended that children aged 12 to 15 in Britain get a first shot of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine after the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization earlier this month decided against making that particular recommendation. Also, out of Britain, there's news that Prince Andrew is going to be challenging that a U.S. court's jurisdiction over a civil lawsuit brought by a woman who accused him of sexually assaulting and battering her 2 decades ago, according to a Monday court filing. In the filing with the U.S. District Court in Manhattan, a lawyer for Andrews said the prince also plans to contest that he was properly served with the lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre, who has said that she was also abused by the financier Jeffrey Epstein. So more on that as and when that story unfolds right here on Good Morning Babe and Jem. Vladimir Putin oversaw vast joint military exercises with Belarus on Monday ahead of his country's parliamentary elections later this week. As NATO member Poland voiced concern over the drills, the sprawling Zapad 2021 live fire exercises will run until Thursday at numerous sites in Russia and ex-Soviet Belarus, with some of which are close to NATO's borders. They have caused alarm in neighboring countries such as Ukraine. And Monday's exercises were focused on launching a counter-offensive against enemy forces, the Russian Defense Ministry said. In the Arctic, Russia's Northern Fleet and Air Force practiced repelling an attack near its border with Norway. President Joe Biden, hours after the last of the U.S. troops and diplomats were out of Afghanistan, said in an address at the White House that Washington will continue to support the Afghans left behind and would defend their basic rights, especially those of women and girls. I've been clear that human rights will be the center of our foreign policy, he said, repeating a campaign promise that he has made often in speeches since taking office on January 20th. The comment fed growing skepticism among critics who argued that the United States had abandoned those very people to the Taliban, a brutal group with a record of crushing women's rights in the name of their radical interpretation of Islam. In news from India, Bandajan, India and the United States launched a joint platform to mobilize finance for clean energy. I'm sorry, my computer just froze up. This particular joint platform, Climate Action and Finance Mobilization Dialogue, would help put both the countries move towards decarbonizing economies in sync with their respective commitments to deal with the challenges of climate change. Joining the International Solar Alliance in due course would be a next step for the US to drive the world towards clean energy transition. Indians may soon get green cards by paying something called a super fee.
Yay!
Yes, the Indian diaspora can now jump the green card backlog queue by a payment of a supplemental fee referred to as a super fee and obtain their permanent visa. Simply, even legal dreamers, that is children of H-1B holders who have aged out or will age out, who have turned 21, will also get a chance to obtain permanent residency or citizenship according to the portion of the reconciliation bill released by the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over immigration. The bill, however, does not seek to eliminate country caps for green cards and increase the annual quota of H-1B visas. Cyrus Mehta, who is the founder of the New York immigration law firm, told news reporters that this is a terrific bill. While it does not have everything, it would allow Indians in the employment green card backlogs to seek a waiver of the numerical limitations by paying a super fee of $5,000 at the time of filing in their final adjustment of status applications and get green cards right away. Annually, the U.S. sets aside 140 lakh green cards for employment-based applicants, and there is a 7% cap per country. Given the heavy influx of Indians in the United States, majority of them holding an H-1B visa, this restrictive policy poses challenges, is what they're saying. Tamil Nadu Assembly has passed a bill for medical college admissions to undergraduate courses in medicine, dentistry, Indian medicine and homeopathy on the basis of marks obtained by students in Class 12 board examinations. The bill also provides for 75% horizontal reservation for the students of government schools in medical admission as well. They have eliminated the need for this exam called the NEET, N-E-E-T. And the Shiromani Akali Dal takes lead to announce 64 candidates for the upcoming 2022 Punjab Assembly polls as well. So more on all of this you'll get on mediamahima.com. Those were the news in a brief coming out from India. And of course, for those of you who are fans of Disney movies and Marvel movies and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a whole big concern that Black Widow came out, on
OTT.
streaming platforms and everything. Well, sad news kind of right now, because now you're going to have to get fully dressed, take a bath, and wear your mask and go into the movie theaters to watch, because Disney is announcing that the rest of its 2021 movies are only going to debut exclusively in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And if you're a horror movie fan, like some of us are, you could actually take advantage of this company that's going to pay $1,300 to watch 13 horror movies in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you are somebody who enjoys that kind of thing. Imagine getting paid to just go watch a movie. Ooh.
Are you sure it's paid, or you got to pay to go watch it?
No, you get paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $1,300 if you want to go watch a movie.
Yeah, I get to watch it every day for free, Mojo. Morning
Your
and evening.
face, is it? Every single morning you watch your face. Yes, that's true.
I wash my face and
Yeah.
I watch your face afterwards. And with that, we're going to come to our end of our show right now. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed presenting it to you guys. And of course, we'll tell you have a magnificent Monday. We'll see you in the evening in the Pam Pam Shamal Jan. जब तक के लिए गाने का कीड़ा आप गुनगुनाते रहेगा, गाते रहेगा.
अपने हिसाब से दिल की किताब पे कुछ तो नया लिखो यार
This is your darling प्यारी महिमा की दुलारी फाल्गु रानी. I hope you enjoy
Every one of these songs that we have lined up for you, Bandujani. This is Radio D Hotties, where entertainment, engagement, excitement, everything keeps getting hotter.